Hello everybody, the Lawn Gnome is here. For today's One That Got Away, I've got a very interesting double feature, and the common ground is young actors. We've got the child star really featuring themselves in all of their glory in regards to these two films, but the two films themselves are very, very different from each other. One of them is actually a family fantasy adventure, and the other one is a raunchy comedy. So the first movie that we're going to be talking about is The Kid Who Would Be King. This is a movie that my wife and I saw many trailers for. We weren't necessarily sure if we were going to go see it in theaters, but it definitely looked like something that we were going to watch at a certain point in time. So we finally had that opportunity. And this is the story that really plays on the myths of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. And basically, Morgan Le Fay rises and she starts to corrupt an already broken world. And this young boy named Alex finds Excalibur in a construction site as he's running from bullies, and all of a sudden he realizes that this is not a fairy tale and that he is now on a quest to stop Morgan Le Fay and also save the world. So I didn't really know what I was going to expect from this movie, except for the fact that I had a feeling it was going to be something I would like, and it definitely was a fun time. It definitely has those elements that you have seen in other great films like Harry Potter, or even going back to the 90s like Hocus Pocus and Something Wicked This Way Comes from the 80s. A lot of those PG Disney films that were family-oriented but had a little bit more of an adult undertone and also had a little bit of scare in it, and I was very impressed by this film. The highlight of this movie for me is without a doubt Angus Emery, who plays the young version of Merlin, but also one of my favorite actors plays the older version of Merlin, and that, of course, is Sir Patrick Stewart. I love when Patrick Stewart shows up anywhere, whether it is from Star Trek The Next Generation or in the Strongbow Hard Cider commercials. I don't care. Patrick Stewart is a god. I love everything that he does, and him playing Merlin was more than appropriate. But the movie itself was really nice. It had a lot of heart. It had some great character development. I was really surprised by the story that involved the new Knights of the Round Table coming together. It definitely has a little bit of something for everybody. It's got fun times, it's got drama, it's got raw emotion, and it's also got very important messages. But also, if you are a fan of King Arthur, or you just love fantasy, you are going to have a really good time with this movie. Though it's not necessarily a movie that I want to get on DVD, but it is definitely a movie that I would consider watching again at some point in time. It definitely is far from perfect, but overall it's an enjoyable film, and it definitely surpassed my expectations, which is why I'm going to give The Kid Who Would Be King 3 stars out of 4. But now let's talk about Good Boys, starring Jacob Tremblay, who, as far as I'm concerned, needs to be in more movies. I don't care whether it's for kids, I don't care if it's for adults. This kid is just a fun, adorable thing to watch on screen. So this is the story about 3 good childhood friends named Thor, Max, and Lucas, and they're going into junior high school, and they are invited to a boy-girl party, and there's going to be kissing. And basically, Jacob Tremblay's character, Max, is trying to find out how to do things properly, because it looks like he's going to finally be part of the in crowd, and basically, in all great ways that comedies go, everything that could possibly go wrong does go wrong. All the well-known cliches of the classic teen comedy, starting from some of the greats like Animal House, going all the way to movies like Superbad, especially because of the fact that Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg are behind it. It basically was, what if the boys from Superbad were 6th graders. That's basically what Good Boys is, but just seeing young kids curse is definitely one of the funniest things, and one of the things that I actually respect the film for is the fact that there are some points during this film where you really think that the bar is going to be pushed, and you really think you're going to get something seriously gross out, and then it just pulls it back and really provides the fact that these boys are still innocent young kids, and they are not that crazy to get into those kinds of situations. It was probably one of the first comedies in a very, very long time where I actually laughed my head off. I enjoyed the comedy in this movie. There was a great blend of political correctness and political incorrectness weaved in together, and I think that's one of the things that I love so much about it. I'm not really someone who is entirely on board with PC culture. Watch my review for blockers and you'll definitely understand why. But I love the fact that they're trying to go into the realm of political correctness, but at the same time make fun of it and still send a decent message and not something that is going to make so many people feel uncomfortable, then throw it into the notorious world of cancel culture. But I have to say that Good Boys really impressed me. Lucas was definitely the highlight of this film for me. He was so innocent and funny to watch. Just such a great, great character. Even Will Forte is in this movie, and I didn't even recognize him. He lost a lot of weight for that role, but good for him. Either way, I will definitely say that Good Boys was a very big surprise. I really was not expecting to enjoy it as much as I did. It is not necessarily a movie that I'd want to get on DVD, but I am sort of considering it. If I saw it in a discount bin, I would probably pick it up, and I definitely feel that the rewatchability is there to an extent, but it's not necessarily a movie that I could see myself watching, especially in the world of comedy. I don't see myself watching it as much as I would Ferris Bueller's Day Off, or Fast Times at Ridgemont High, or The Breakfast Club, or American Pie. It just doesn't have that the others do. But you can definitely tell that it's trying to get back to those old great comedies of the last 35 to 40 years. So I highly recommend Good Boys. I'm going to give it a 3.5 stars out of 4. I really, really enjoyed this film. So that's it, everybody. Those are my thoughts on The Kid Who Would Be King and Good Boys. Please leave your comments in the box below and let's discuss. And I'll see you in the next one. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you're new here and want to see more of what my channel has to offer, please click on the link to my last video, or hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of my uploads. Content of all sorts is posted here quite often, so trust me, you do not want to fall behind. I will see you in the comments, and actions speak louder than words.